So I just got somebody who was quite worried about me, and they were going, you do know that these people have massive legal resources. So when I describe very specific people who I have named as an abusive male, this is my evidence for doing so. Ros Cavini, Andrew Cavini, cannot perceive other women's boundaries, believes that identifying as a woman is a right to override those boundaries, has actively supported violence against women, has actively stated that he believes his identity as a male means that women's freedom of assembly needs to end, and then tried to pursue this aim with aggressive targeting of women and with supporting actual violence against women. And I'm thinking about Tanis Wood assaulting Maria McLaughlin, which was an actual assault. Andrew Cavini is not just an abusive male, he is a dangerous abusive male whose behaviour indicates he poses significant risk to women. And he has demonstrated that risk. And his position as somebody who tries to influence young students, especially female students, is deeply concerning. Amy Challoner believed that a connection to women in his head gave him and his father, who tortured and raped a 10-year-old girl, a reason to develop an internet tool which would stalk, monitor and harass 50,000 women. This is evidence of deeply disturbed abusive behaviour and risk to women. The aim of this behaviour was to prevent them discussing safeguarding during a concerted attempt to roll back safeguarding and to get access to children. When I describe Paris Lees as an abusive male, I am talking about an abusive male with a history of very extreme violence, with a current inability to perceive consent and boundaries of women as anything but an injury to his identity, and who has clearly stated that he is validated by a newborn baby being harmed. By no definition could the newborn baby being harmed be described as anything but a victim of very, very serious child abuse, and in the UK that would have resulted in removal of a child and striking off of any medical professions. I am confidently able to describe Paris Lees as an abusive male. Sean Fay is an abusive male who has actively stated that his identity means that he feels that a connection he imagines to women gives him a reason to stalk, target women discussing on the internet, undermine their ability to speak online, and has actively said that his identity is such that he needs other women erased. This is behaviour which does not just indicate that Sean is male, but that he is a very deeply abusive male who presents risk to women. My right to risk assess is not changed by your identity. My perception is not changed by your identity. And the law is very, very clear that I have a responsibility to identify and manage abusive males. If these males do not wish to be identified as abusive males, I would rather suggest that they change their behaviour. Now, I do not know who has let them believe that their identity as a woman makes this normal or makes these traits anything but evidence of risk to women. But really, come get me. There is nothing I have said in these videos that is libel or defamation, and if Paris Lees, Ros Cavini, Jane Fay, Sean Fay, Amy Challoner, Jess Bradley do not wish to be perceived as abusive males, the option is open to each of them to change the demonstration of their abusive misogyny. I'm not remotely scared. You want to sue me because I have correctly identified somebody's sex and correctly identified behaviours and traits which indicate that that person presents a risk to the groups that I have stated. I'm all good with that. I am happy to repeat my assessment in court. I am more than able to do so. I am trained to do so. I am happy to repeat that in writing. I am not afraid of legal threats from abusive males whose behaviour indicates they present serious risk to women, because that abusive behaviour has been given licence by major media institutions and politics institutions, all of whom should be fully aware of what I am able to do and fully aware that their behaviour is indicative of risk. The problem here is not that I can identify abusive behaviour, it's that the people who have validated these people are not able to. And as these people and organisations are the bottom line of political responsibility for the same things that I am talking about, I would suggest that they corrected that. But do I even look remotely scared? Come get me. You can sue, I'll wait for the legal letters. You can get caught a ruck, you can do what you want. But I am legally obligated and have been trained by the British state to identify behaviour which indicates risk to women and children, and each of these people has demonstrated mental disorder and behaviour and attitudes, past and present, and behaviours which indicate serious risk to women. It is not my fault that in the Guardian world, abusive male behaviour that indicates risk to women is feminism. The Guardian is fucked. That's not my problem. That's why they're dying as a newspaper. The abilities that I have are shared by other women. The only thing that really marks me out is that I'm able to articulate them clearly because I'm trained to do so. So I will repeat. Jess Bradley should always have been perceived as an abusive male who presented a risk. Sean Fay presents as an abusive male who presents risk to women. Ros Cavini presents as an abusive male who has demonstrated and actively demonstrated risk to women. Amy Challoner should never have been eliminated, was always demonstrating mental disorder which indicated serious risk to women. The problem is not my ability to articulate it, my problem is the failure to recognise it in the people that have elevated these people, and I am confident and happy to say that without fear of legal redress.